Thank you, sir, for speaking. You're giving me this opportunity to speak on the Constitution 128th Amendment Bill 23. Sir, I stand on behalf of the Nationalist Congress Party in full support of this bill. But there are a few points that I would like to raise as seek clarification from the government. First of all, today when we read the newspaper, sir, this morning, there were two major points which were covered in every newspaper today. I don't want to move the list of bill, but a few things which are real paper today has complemented all the governments who have brought this bill at various times. But there is another small piece of information on every front page of the newspaper today, which is about the incidents that happened in Canada. So I think since this is a special session and it's only for 5 days, I request the government to debate a few topics which are equally relevant as today's. One is the Canadian issue. Yes. The second is Maharashtra today, the state which I come from, sir. वहाँ मराठा आरक्षण, धनगर आरक्षण, लिंगायत आरक्षण और मुस्लिम आरक्षण, ये चारों आरक्षण जैसे महिला आरक्षण का मामला बहुत ही अच्छा है, मैं तहे दिल से उसका स्वागत करती हूँ.
Supriya Sule, come to the bill, please.
Yeah, I'm just making up. This is just an introduction about Arakshan. I'm not asking for this Arakshan. I'm only saying कि मराठा, धनगर, लिंगायत और मुस्लिम आरक्षण का भी हमारे यहाँ बहुत बड़ा चल रहा है आज. तो उसके लिए भी अगर the government is open, we are very happy to debate it. The other problem is even about onions, inflation, drought, बहुत सारे important issues हैं. तो अगले 2 दिन में अगर ये ले ले तो हम सब सरकार का साथ देंगे. Sir, the Honorable Amit Shah ji, when he corrected one of his speakers, he was very graceful and he said, why can't men? भाई भी कर सकता है. जी सही बात है, हर घर में ऐसे भाई नहीं होते जो बहन का सब अच्छा कल्याण देखते हैं. But that is very kind of him to say that. हर की तकदीर इतनी अच्छी नहीं होती. But फिर भी, the men, I never say, I always say there are 2 wheels for a cycle to work. So men are equally important. And I would like to about the men which has influenced our lives as women. It was B.R. Ambedkar who gave us a right to vote. It was Mahatma Phule, he made sure gave us education, and a woman like me stands here educated and qualified because of what he contributed. And the women policy which was first, I say that with extreme pride in my heart, that the women policy which was started by Shri, initiated in the Congress under the leadership of Shri Rajiv Gandhi. I was fortunate enough to say it's my father Sharad Pawar who in Maharashtra was the first state to implement Panchayat Raj 33% reservation. And it's about the girl child. I mean, Sunita Dugalji was talking about the issues that women have. Fortunately, I was born in a very liberal home. My father and my mother, there was only one condition my father laid to my mother, that if we have a child, whatever the gender, it can be any gender, a girl or a boy, but we are not going to have more than one child. And I was born, and my father after that did the family planning, not my mother. So I really say this, it was 50 years ago, 5 decades, when nobody talked about Beti Padhao or Beti Bachao. I come from a family, and same is applicable to my friend Kanimoli. Her mother also chose to have only one child as her parents have had. So we come from these families. You also, Raja ji also has only one child, one daughter. So we are very lucky you also have one daughter. This is a great house where we are blessed that with decades we are genuinely liberal. We are not looking for one. There are many families which come from this kind of liberal modern thinking where we are not trapped into genders. Sir, this is a big social change that we came in. I would like to bring few points to notice, which I think Nishikant Dubey ji, the lead speaker, I mean, I don't get into the gender, so I'm not affected whether he led the debate from BJP or he did. But I want to ask some clarifications to BJP. I felt, these were my emotions, that BJP was taking anticipatory bail by making him lead from the front this time in the debate. The reason of the anticipatory bail was he was asking us all the questions which we have raised or which have come in newspapers or what people have said yesterday. He yesterday said, he said that, oh, ये तो ST, SC, OBC का अभी मांग करेंगे. क्यों नहीं मांग करेंगे? सरकार से हम लोग opposition मांग नहीं करेगी तो कौन करेगा? And why not? This is a great golden opportunity on 303. दे दीजिए. Nothing wrong. So why is it that we are only asking for something? बड़ा दिल करके आप ST, SC, OBC, let's make a constitutional amendment. It's a special session. Let's send a message to this nation that we are committed to ST, SC and OBC. What is wrong with that? And if they have a different view, BJP must clarify that stand. Another point, sir, which is very concerning with what he said was, he said that Geeta Mukherjee, Sushma Swaraj. He's absolutely right. I have high regard for Sushma ji in my heart. But what he mentioned, another person was Brinda Karaji. Aapko yaad hoga, 2010 mein Brinda Karaji also contributed substantially. There are a lot of women who did exceptionally well for bringing in this bill. No, I'm not yielding.
Please, please.
The whole history is that Pramila Dandavate from Rajya se main aati hu. Pramila Dandavate in 1996 got the first private members bill, and women like Mrunal Gore, Ahilya Rangnekar, Geeta Mukherjee, Margaret Alva. I was fortunate enough that Nitish Kumar ji, Girja Vyas, Sharad Pawar, Sushma Swaraj, Mamta Banerjee, Meera Kumar, Uma Bharti ji were all the people who were in those bills who contributed to making sure this bill came into light, sir. I have a few
Yes,
questions
Supriya
to ask.
Sule ji.
Just 2 questions I have to ask.
Yes, please.
Very short, sir. I will ask the government. So I'm concluding, sir. Just started. Yeah, and that too is our bill.
Please don't
sir,
make
I have
such
a question
comments.
to ask him, Nishikant ji, for one more. He said that we are on a side, India is on a side of people who ran women down and spoke derogatorily. I would like to ask the BJP, and this is my own case. This is not somebody else's case I'm fighting for. The BJP had a head who was the head of the BJP in Maharashtra. He told me personally on record on television that Supriya Sule, Ghar Jaake Khana Banao, Desh koi aur Chala Lega, hum log chalange. This is what the BJP's mindset is. Another minister in their cabinet has used a derogatory word against me. So BJP जवाब दो, जब हमारा कुछ कह रहा है तो इंडिया खराब है. आपके मंत्री पर्सनल कमेंट्स करते हैं पर्सनली on elected women member. I didn't even react. It was not even worth reacting. So I did not say or raise it. But since he brought it up, I just wanted to square it. कि आप करें तो ठीक और हम करें तो गलती. That way, the rule has to be the same for everybody. Another question I want to ask, just out of curiosity, I appreciate their entire speech and the questions. Unless we have delimitation and census, we are not going to get it, is what I've understood from them.
Yes.
So then what is this special session? तो अभी नहीं करते तो December में कर लेते. We could have had other discussions. There's drought in this country. Why this special session? Cannot discuss drought. We could have done, it's hoodwinking. So my question to this government is the date of the next census is indeterminate. The date of the next delimitation is indeterminate. So in the reservation, which is dependent on 2 indeterminate dates, how are we going to get it? There is no dates only decided for census or for delimitation. So what is the date and the timeline for this? So I can't understand what this is. I'd like to quote the Mahatma Gandhi in this. When the Cripps mission, sir, if you remember, you're such a learned member, he had mentioned when the Cripps mission had happened that post-dated check drawn from a crashing bank. That's what I felt when I saw this.
Thank you.
This is a post-dated check given by them.
Thank you very much.
And Megwal ji made
I think this...
two comments. Very short points, very short points, sir. That the Megwal ji said that Lok Sabha mein aayega, Rajya Sabha mein nahi aayega. Lekin he said states mein aayega, MLC. That's 303. They're 303 here and they're 200 in my state. जोड़ तोड़ के हर राज्य में उनकी सरकार है. So why don't they do that? If we failed, I accept we failed. So then what is the difference between you and us then? So if they want to be the change, what they say, so they should apply it in Rajya Sabha. We will support it. I'm sure the entire India.
Thank you.
We will support
Srimati,
it. Sir, the only last very short point, I would like to quote the Jawaharlal Nehru Pandit ji, the first Prime Minister. You can tell the condition of the nation by looking at the status of the women in the state, sir. So even today, the record of Maharashtra, and my friend Kakoli Ghosh talked about the state and the crime against women. I very humbly would like to tell them that what you're giving in decision-making as power, we welcome it wholeheartedly, but this House in one voice must say the crime against women has to stop, and together today's Maharashtra data says, and they have a home minister there in Maharashtra where it has gone up exponentially high. So the way we are looking at decision-making and power to women, we must even talk about crime against women, and the whole of Parliament must condemn it and make sure it comes down to zero. I wholeheartedly congratulate the government for bringing this government, and I support it. Thank you, sir.
धन्यवाद सभापति महोदय कि आपने मुझे एक अवसर दिया इस विधेयक